Hello, today I am going to expose this Korean YouTuber who converted to Islam for channel support and views.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello guys, I will talk really interesting topic today.
As you can clearly see, his video views massively increased after he started using Islam. From a not wanted YouTube channel into everywhere, just talking about Islam, he became needed just for using Muslim stuff.
Hello JBs. Today I will gonna take reaction video about Quran recitation.
Videos like these made him gain popularity, and he ended up converting to Islam without studying it, and look, it's clearly noticeable, even his mom exposed him.
아직 봤잖아. 전에도 얘기를 했던 게 그럼 이슬람을 내가 요즘에 많이 얘기를 하잖아. 그리고 저는 기도하고. 근데 이제 계속 그거를 이제 위험하다고 생각을 하니까.
처음에는 네가 이거를 하기로 한 게 이슬람에 대해서 하겠다고 유튜브를 시작한 게 아니잖아. 그러니까 네가 처음에 유튜브 할 때는 그냥 재미로 음악을 하니까 네가 음악을 전공했으니까 그때는 되게 보기가 좋았는데 자꾸 이슬람 쪽으로 너무 치우치니까 그래서 엄마는 너무.
But what bothers me, did Daud Kim actually explore all the arguments, how we received the Quran, who's Muhammad, the real Islam, not local imam, who does not know his religion, by himself, that Uthman burned the manuscripts, goat-eating chapters of Quran, scientific mistakes, crucifixion, the funniest tale, did he actually search and waked it up?
What Muhammad he did? He fawned and turned away. Who? Muhammad. Muhammad, he made this verse himself to clean himself, that okay, you know what, I have a bad reputation. A blind man came to me and I was very rude with him. People start talking about him. I mean, what kind of a guy? Just because he's busy with the rich men of Quraysh. If you read the story according to Muslim, not according to Christian Prince, that Muhammad was speaking to a bunch of rich people of Quraysh, the tribe of Quraysh. And the blind man, he came to ask question. Muhammad, he gave him a face and he kicked him out. Because come on, this guy is just a poor guy. And not only that, if you read the interpretation, you will see that he was afraid that the people of Quraysh will say, oh, look who is following him, a blind poor man. This is the one who follow you, a blind poor man. So Muhammad was ashamed of the blind man and he kicked him away. And by the way, if you are a person who want to say, I'm making things up, I can open the interpretation for you.
Hi everyone and welcome, this is the Apostate Prophet. If we look at the history of the Hajj and at Islamic sources from a non-Islamic point of view, however, it rather looks like Islam adopted the Hajj and much of its practices from pre-Islamic Arab polytheists, and then claimed it was based on Abraham and monotheism. If one of the central concepts in Islam is indeed a mixture of Arab pagan practices, then this heavily undermines Islam's credibility, which is claimed to be the pure monotheistic religion.
Of course, our friend Daud Kim didn't research anything, he just found one Korean Muslim and converted.
그래서 내가 할 말이 있어서 불렀는데.
유튜브 요즘에 잘 되고 있어?
잘 그냥 열심히 하고 있지. 내가 저번에 2주 전에 물어봤잖아. 내가 무슬림 되면은 어쩔 것 같냐.
그래.
내가 생각을 되게 많이 해봤는데, 그래서 어제 가서 이제 이맘님 뵙고 개종을 했어 내가.
개종을 했다고? 어머 재환아 진짜 너 미쳤구나. 미쳤어. 아니 얘가 엄마한테.
Get to it. Let's talk about some of your background. So you said you're from Pakistan?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Pakistan. Around 15 years of age, I became really practicing. 5 times going to the mosque. Actually, I was so involved. Like I was giving the azan at the local masjid. I was leading prayer at the local masjid. That too in Pakistan, living in.
Right.
everything revolved around Islam. My priority was religion. My studies and everything came secondary. I identified myself as a Muslim first, Pakistani later. Uh, it gave me this strength. And one thing I noticed, like the culture in Pakistan, the society there actually said it's good to practice more and more and more. Like they push it. So even as a child, as a young teenager, I always had a lot of confidence because people always were like, "Oh, you're so good, mashallah, subhanallah, this kid is on the right path." And they'll tell my parents that, and my parents were really happy, and they would make me as an example for my brothers. Like, look at him, he's going to the mosque 5 times a day, he's reading the Quran, he's getting people in salah. Then a point came where religion just took over my whole life. I'd say, really to backtrack a little bit just to show you how involved I was in the community in Winnipeg and what ended up actually happening. After I came to Winnipeg, I got more involved in the community. I was at the local MSA and I was giving khutbas, azans, and leading prayer for about 2 years. Then what ended up happening was I was living close to the university. I finished my education and I moved away from it, and I started working. Started talking to a lot of people at work, and some of them were atheists, some of them were Christians. So they started asking a bunch of questions. Uh, and that had already been 2 years of me being in Canada. So my perspective of the world had changed. I had realized that, hey, listen, man, like treating women with respect is essential. Women are as intelligent as men. You know, there's human rights. You shouldn't be chopping people's hands off and all that. And then when people started asking me questions about Islam, I started doing research in an attempt to answer them. The more and more and more research I did, I was like, wow, I didn't know this was in Islam. And that kind of, the new perspective, the new world, the way you view the world, it just took me away from Islam slowly and slowly and slowly. And then I remember I was watching this documentary with my wife called Amongst the Believers about an incident in Pakistan. And I looked at it and I think that's exactly the society Muhammad wants to create, where women are all veiled up and, they don't look at each other. It's a patriarchal society. So I said to my wife, Islam looks like a cult.